You like the whiniest guy in the history of fucking golf, dude. Rory McIlroy whines more than Jon Rahm. And you love him. Big Rory guy, Adam Hawk.
All right, you ready?
How's that for a cold open, you motherfuckers? Bleep that out. Before we start, bear with me here. I'm going to make a conscious effort to lower the cursing.
Oh, wow. I think people like that.
They like it?
I don't know. I think it's part of your personality. I have no idea.
Oh, fuck. Now you just you really just screwed me up right there.
Sorry about that. You ready? As I like to say at the top of every episode, welcome to the fellowship, but this one calls for a deviation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Masters Week. It is finally here. We have choked down our gruel, and it's time for dessert. My name is Adam Hawk. He is Ryan Engle, and let me be clear, the Masters this year especially is such a welcome reprieve. The West Coast swing nearly killed professional golf. Anthony Kim's return went over like a wet fart in church. The proposed golf ball rollback really exposed just how stupid and uneducated the average golf fan is. Full Swing Season 2 was a full-on snooze fest, and the Bing Crosby and Arnold Palmer collaborations were both heinous and disrespectful. But we have made it. The road to Magnolia Lane was cracked, full of potholes, and dusted with broken glass. But now we are on manicured pavement, cruising down a tree-lined road to Augusta National. And with that, I say hello to my co-host, my business partner, my best friend, and fellow Masters disciple, Ryan Engle. Ryan, it's here, Masters Week. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking. Masters, Augusta National, just like life. It's a garden, baby. Dig it.
These next 3 days could be the longest 3 days of the year. What is your plan here? Are you watching the press conferences? Are you inhaling all the practice round photos on social media?
No.
Are you locked into the par 3 contest? Or do you just put your head down and get as much work done as possible, knowing full well that you are off the grid of humanity come Thursday?
I've been on this very distinct downward slide, I'd like to say, on really caring about most of professional sports in general. And once I've decided those things about the tribalistic team sport aspect and the marketing machine behind all of it, I see it that certain way. It's like I can't unsee it. And a lot of that has trickled into everything else, and especially golf. Golf in recent years, as we all know and we talk about on the show a lot, has changed a lot. I think it's lost a lot of charm. It's lost a lot of its mystique. And quite frankly, I care a lot less about who's winning in the end and coming down the stretch. There's not a lot of like really great characters to root for. I think it's the best golf tournament in the world. I think it's the best week to watch golf because they package and present it so perfectly. They check every box. You think guys geek out on watching the Masters? Those guys geek out on holding the Masters. I think it resonates and comes through the screen. But that being said, am I going to watch the tournament? Yes. Everything else, I don't know. I think, like you said, I'm going to be kind of focused on work because I know I'm going to be cheating on family time a little bit come later in the week to watch. Maybe I'll get excited once it starts, but like right now, I'm just kind of neutral. Am I excited to watch it when it starts? Yeah, but all the preliminary crap and sideshow stuff, I'm not that geeked.
Let's see if I can get you into fourth gear here, because we are not going to be iPod broadcasting again until the Monday after the Masters. So we have to go on record today with our picks and predictions. So let's do some really lazy hot take radio and check all the boxes for low-brow engagement. You ready? Eldrick Taunt Woods, 5-time winner, most recently in 2019, a guy that has only played 6 events in the last 3 years. Does Tiger Woods make the cut this year at the Masters?
I don't think he does. I think it's too hard of a walk. We all know Tiger, he's a front runner. He's not a come-from-behind guy, and all these kids are dialed. Someone's going to go out like every year, put a crazy number up Thursday, have the lead, and he's going to curse his own chances with that. And Tiger's going to be so far down the list, and he's going to get 3/4 of the way through the first round, kind of feel a little limpy, He's just going to kind of watch the field lap him, and that'll be the end of it.
I think he makes the cut because Augusta National rewards institutional knowledge, and no one has more of that than Tiger. So, yes, I think he makes the cut. I know how you're going to answer this question, but I have to ask it because, again, we are doing lowbrow hot take radio. Will Tiger Woods win the 2024 Masters?
I don't think he can. I think I can count on my right hand how many times he's hit a right-to-left drive in this last third of his career. And there's just a number of shots out there that in the pressure, in the moment, you got to hit it on the screws and at least hit it straight or slightly turn it over. And I think if we're all being honest, he kind of hits a little slice now. I just don't think that bodes well for him with the tees all the way back and all these guys coming guns a-blazing. So I don't think he has it.
I don't think there's a chance he wins the Masters. There are so many things working against him here. I know it feels like yesterday when he won his 5th green jacket, but that was actually 5 years ago. That's half a decade on a guy who was already 43 then and is 48 now. And all that's changed since then is another car crash where he almost lost his leg and more balding on top of his melon. Also, the field is extremely deep, especially when you factor in some of the live guys. Speaking of the live guys, here is a totally lame Golf Digest Instagram poll question.
What is Golf Digest Instagram? Are they the worst? Well, no, that Golf on CBS account is the worst.
Pretty bad. Can a live golfer win the Masters? It's so funny. This is the question of the week.
You know what Golf Digest post should have said right there? Can we continue to bait you into comment? No one sees what's happening, and they just take the fucking bait.
Of course. Now, will you take the bait and answer it for the podcast where I have said up front transparently, we are doing lowbrow hot take radio.
I get it. Here's the thing. Yes, obviously.
Right.
I saw on Instagram, the Live Golf had a thing in Miami. I had no idea. They do such a great job marketing their tournaments. And so I looked, maybe some of these guys are tail end of their career, whatever. But I mean, you go through that list, and it is way more impressive than recent PGA Tour lists. If you're just looking at it on paper, being as objective as possible, that Live Golf list looks a lot more impressive than the PGA Tour list right now on any given tournament. So can they win? I think so. Koepka proved it last year. Mickelson got second last year, just kind of sneaking around the joint. It takes good golf, but it kind of takes a good golf head on your shoulders. And a lot of those guys know where to miss it there. They've been through it a long time. They've performed on the big stage. So to think that a live guy couldn't win is just basically saying, I don't know golf, bruh.
I agree with you. 100% yes. And in fact, I am picking a live guy to win. Live might be a total clown show joke and a disgrace to golf. But the guys who play it are not. Jon Rahm is the defending champion at the Masters. Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson finished tied for second last year. And Joaquin Niemann might be the hottest player in the game right now, not named Scottie Scheffler. So yes, a live golfer can win. And it's such a stupid question, especially when you consider, no pun intended, that those guys live for this moment. They so badly want to play golf with stakes, and this is one of 4 chances they get every year. 3 more ultra lowbrow, ultra high engagement Masters questions. Does the Masters boil down to picking Scottie Scheffler or the field? There used to be, before every tournament that Tiger would play in, the question, Tiger or the field. This year at Augusta, does it boil down to picking Scottie Scheffler or the field?
It's close. You can probably bet your house that he's going to be somewhere in the mix come the end of it. And I know a lot of you golf purists, what have you, are going to be like, well, how can you pick him? He fades it off the tee too, like Tiger. Yes, he does fade it off the tee, but he hits it through a tire every time. He does hit a cut, but man, if you've been watching this guy lately, his dispersion, where that ball's coming off, and the control, he's long, and he's hitting baby cuts. Tiger's, he's hitting more of a little like grandpa power fade out there, where Scottie is just a ball striking machine. If he has a decent week putting, it's going to be tough to beat him.
Yeah, for me, it does not boil down to picking Scottie or the field. Scottie might be the best ball striker since prime Tiger, but he's far from the best putter, and in fact, more often than not, he's far from the most average putter. And Yes, I know he won here 2 years ago, and he's coming in on a heater, and his putting has improved, but I also know that he four-putted the 72nd hole in 2022 to win, and the last time we saw him, he missed a 7-footer to force a playoff in Houston. Just like I know that Augusta National has the trickiest greens on the planet, and Scotty hasn't been around that track with his new mallet yet. So this isn't Scotty or the field for me. Yes, he's an absolute front runner coming into the week, but he's not bulletproof, and because of that, I think he's just one of the favorites, not the favorite. 2 more for you. Who do you want to win? I'm not asking who you think will win, but who do you, Ryan Engle, want to win the 2024 Masters?
I looked through the list on the Masters app, got the update. I'm going to go Victor Hovland. I think he's probably the more neutral, cool, kind of regular guy. There's a lot to like about him. I think I would say that I would like to see him win. And then maybe Cam Smith, similar kind of vibe. A lot to like about the guy. No drama, no BS. He just kind of plays golf, and he seems like a cool dude. Probably root for those guys.
I would like to see Rory McIlroy win the 2024 Masters for obvious reasons. I'm a Rory guy. I want to see him complete the career Grand Slam.
Why?
Because it's great golf history, and of all the golf luminaries...
And he deserves that?
He deserves it more
Why does he deserve it?
Because he's done so much for the game. He has carried the baton. He caped up for the PGA Tour. He's great.
All the shit he's been squawking over the past 2.5 years has been good for the game?
Yes.
You think that's been good for the game?
It's been good for the tour, and I'm a tour guy.
Oh, my God, dude. Rory is such a kook. He's a bigger whiner than Jon Rahm.
I want Rory to win. I want to see him get off of this 10-year drought or however long it's been since he won a major. I want to see him put a green jacket on. I want to see him serve the Champions Dinner next year. I want him to get this monkey off of his back. I want to see him play well at Augusta National, and I want to see him finally cash in from all of those close calls at the Masters. I want to see Rory win, and I'm not apologizing for it. Last question.
You like the worst guys, dude.
Last question. Who will win? Not who do you want to win, who do you think will win?
I just have this weird feeling that Joaquin Niemann is just going to get it done.
I'm going with Jon Rahm. I don't want to see it because, quite frankly, I don't like the guy at all. Hell of a player, but not easy for me to root for. This dude has a severe case of the red ass, and it's not endearing at all. He's always bitching about something. He's like a guy that perpetually wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. When I meet people that like Jon Rahm, I'm always wondering, why? What does he do or say that's likable? Is he funny? No. Is he good to the crowd? No. Is he personable? No. Is he a great ambassador for the game? No. So what makes anyone like this guy? Again, great player, and you can like that, but this dude has the personality and charm of a school bus fire. He's my pick to win. I think he comes in laser-focused, wanting to defend, hyped on the Champions Dinner, hyped on the history of going back-to-back, and hyped to shove a lot of shit down the throats of people who have been running their mouth since he left for LIV. I think no one more than Jon Rahm misses the competition, and he's also been away from it the least amount of time. So if anyone over at LIV is still in fighting shape, it's this guy, in my opinion. All right, I think we'd both rather talk about the history and tradition of Augusta, but this is 2024, and hot takes and predictions are what move the needle. So there you go. We stooped down to the lowest level, talking Tiger and the cut line and who we think will win.
I'm so fucking bored right now.
All right, to my wife, my brother, Craig Dunlap, and everyone else who listens to this pod for general talk and not golf, we will get off the golf right after this. Because a lot of people are talking.
About what?
And this time we mean it. A lot of people are talking. Akshay Bhatia, a main character on this podcast these last 2 weeks, won a golf tournament yesterday, and he punched his ticket to Augusta. Let's hope that's the last thing he punches, because Akshay Bhatia, the world's goofiest looking golfer, also punched the air and dislocated his shoulder. True story, folks. After Denny McCarthy birdied 8 of his last 9 holes to run down Akshay, who once had a 6-shot lead, Akshay then had to make a 15-foot slider on 18 to force a playoff for an event that he had on ice since Thursday. And he did. Good for the kid. Huge putt. Huge moment. Unfortunately, Akshay got a little excited and started fist pumping, which isn't a big deal for most people, but it is for Akshay because dude dislocated his shoulder, quite literally punching air. This guy fought the air, and the air won. I mean, how brittle and goofy can one guy be? Now, I didn't see any of this live because I was at kids' soccer games for 3 straight hours in the middle of a Sunday afternoon, but my phone was blowing up, absolutely blowing up. Because apparently to our listeners, Akshay Bhatia winning means Nation Golf losing. More on that in just a second. But apparently Akshay Bhatia turned into a tennis player and called for a medical timeout during the playoffs so he could get his shoulder popped back into place.
Is that a thing? Are there medical timeouts in golf?
You know, I consulted a coworker at the SCGA who is certified as a rules guru via the USGA, and according to Rule 5.6, a player is allowed 15 minutes to address a sudden injury or ailment. So he's allowed to do what he did, and he went on to win the golf tournament, which is kind of cool. I mean, super cool that he won, and he did it in the middle of an injury. But the dead-ass exact opposite of super cool that his injury was from punching the air. Now, I don't have an issue with the quote-unquote medical timeout, whether it's allowed or not. I've seen plenty of golfers take more time with a lot less serious things. I've also seen Brooks Koepka get a chiropractic adjustment laying down in the middle of the fairway. I've seen Jason Day get treated for vertigo mid-round. Hell, I just saw Scotty Scheffler get a 10-minute neck massage in the middle of the Players. So there's precedence for this.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Also, keep this in mind, folks. If Akshay can lose a fight with the air, dislocate his wing, and still win a golf tournament, how bad does Tiger Woods look withdrawing from the Genesis because he lost a little fight with the diarrhea? As for Akshay winning, why does everyone who texted me yesterday think that this was some sort of crow sandwich moment for the fellas at Nation?
I don't know, dude. Not surprised.
Look, there is nothing more that I hate than being repetitive. I repeat, there is nothing more that I hate than being repetitive. But we've said the same thing the past 2 weeks. We like the guy. We really do. He's a young stud from LA who is now part of the Sea Island Mafia. He interviews well, and he once rented a U-Haul truck to get around during a tournament week because there were no cars available at the airport.
I mean, dude.
That's a golf story right there.
This guy's the goofiest guy in golf.
He's a good dude. He's a great player. We're rooting for the guy. But he's goofy.
Yeah.
He just is. And I got more than a few texts yesterday saying, well, look at him now. He's wearing a classic striped shirt and no joggers. What now, Hawk?
Did you see him in the cowboy boots?
I did.
By the trophy?
And to that question, what now? What now? How about gain 50 pounds, lose the Mr. Magoo glasses, get a haircut, play a real putter, and stand on the correct side of the ball? Oh, and don't have your arm fly off of your brittle body when you fist pump. How about that?
It gets goofier the more you think about it.
It really does. Now, look, I know how this sounds to untrained ears. It sounds like I'm a hater and a body shamer, but I'm not. This guy can dress however he wants. He can use a shepherd's staff for a putter, and he can weigh 130 pounds. But I get to call him goofy looking and tell him to drink a glass of milk. It doesn't mean I don't like him, and I'm not even calling him bad looking. For all intents and purposes, Akshay is a good-looking guy, and he's got some of the shiniest, straightest, pearly white chiclets I've ever seen.
Yeah, right?
I'm a fan of the dude. I'm a fan of the player. I'm rooting for the man and the golfer, and I actually think he's going to do really well at Augusta. That place is made for lefties, and if you're going to legally cheat with a broomstick putter, then it's shaping up real nice for him.
Hot take. They got to ban those putters, dude. It's so dumb. It's clearly cheating because every guy who goes to one after he's on the verge of losing his card, all of a sudden sniffs victory or wins like Lucas Glover. And here's the thing. We can't prove that he's anchoring, but I can tell you this. It's awfully freaking close. Why does that matter? If you got a broomstick and you're holding it on the end with that 90-degree elbow technique and your fist on the butt of that grip is just hovering your chest, it's almost touching, you might as well anchor it because there's no difference, because now you can just kind of hover and pick that spot and act like you're anchoring it because the handle's so close to your body. So what's the difference? They got to get rid of that stuff. You want to be an amateur? Use that? Go ahead. Pro golf? No, dude. No. Not only does it look ridiculous, but it's clearly an advantage. For younger players to be going to that, I don't know. Call me a gatekeeper. call me an old head. I don't even give a crap. If you're a golfer and you're looking at that and you don't have a problem with it, I feel bad for you.
So we can call a spade and a goof. And one final thing to everyone who has an issue with what I am saying, listen up, listen good. Let this next bit of unbiased factual information really sink in. Do you know how Webster's dictionary defines the word goofy? You ready for this, Vulture Mob? The word goofy is defined as, quote, harmlessly eccentric, end quote. So I am quite literally doing no harm by calling him goofy, because to be goofy is to be harmlessly eccentric. There is no malice and there is no spite in the word, and one might actually agree that I picked the best word possible 3 episodes ago when I labeled him goofy. And with that, I rest my case. Do you know what Akshay Bhatia and Adam Hawk have in common? We both just won. And you know what we don't have in common? I just fist pumped my victory and my arm didn't fall off.
You need to get taped up? You want to take 15? Coffee break.
No, I'm fine because I weigh what I'm supposed to weigh.
I hate to be this guy, but it just goes back to that shorts video. Can you trust a man who wears shorts like that ever? Where do you buy shorts like that? This guy's the skinniest guy on earth. Did he get those tailored? How are they that close to his thighs? How do you even get a pair of shorts like that on? There's got to be elastin in them, because if those are straight cotton twill, they're ripping, dog. How are shorts that tight? Blows my mind. And the fact that you're going to have that body look like that guy and wear those shorts. It might as well be the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and this is when they paint the swimsuits on. Get the acrylic paint. I need some new shorts. My God, dude. Paint these shorts on. I'll just put a belt over it. No one will notice, dude.
All right, enough golf. And I know that's a weird thing to say on a golf podcast, Enough Golf, hosted by a golf brand, but I know a lot of people who tune in for the jaw jacking and the horse hockey and the yarn spinning and the breeze shooting and the gum flapping and the motor running. So let's get to some of that.
Wow.
I do want to say that my career as a father has taken a lot of heat from my co-host. My co-host here would have the world believe that I am some sort of absentee, deadbeat dad who looks for ways to avoid my family. And yes, my favorite day of the year is Christmas Eve, when my family packs it up and heads to Grandma's house and I'm left alone on the couch to watch Die Hard, Jingle All the Way, and A Christmas Story, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
Case closed.
As a man who asks for nothing every single Christmas, the only gift I get is the gift of silence on December 24th, and I'm taking it. And yes, on Father's Day, I do request to be left alone in the top dog chair where I can watch the final round of the U.S. Open with no interruptions. But it's my day, and on Father's Day, the one thing I want is to not be a father. So sue me, okay? But save for those 2 days of the year when I tap out on parenting, I'm a hell of a dad. And I'm not going to sit here and listen to a guy with half the kids, twice the babysitting, and 100 less miles of a daily commute tell me I suck at being a dad. Especially when I had arguably the best dad weekend of my parenting career. This past Friday, I experienced the highlight of fatherhood. And I know it sounds like I'm setting up for some sort of misleader joke, but I'm not. Because this past Friday,
You got to take a nap? Long one? Long nap in the top dog chair?
This past Friday, I successfully taught my daughter how to ride a bike. And I got to tell you, man, dad to dad, it was incredible. Probably the most proud I've ever been, and a moment I was so thankful for and won't ever forget. And to me, there's just something so poetic about it. There's the trial and error, watching your child deal with frustration and fear and giving up and starting again and failing to do something that looks and feels so easy for you, the adult, and then having to dig really deep for patience, which I think is something every parent wishes they had more of. And then there's the physical aspect of awkwardly running behind your kid, holding onto the bike seat that's 2 feet off the ground while you shuffle your feet and break your back, and this goes on for hours, and you're dying on the inside, and your muscles are aching, and you just want to snap your fingers and get it over with, but instead, you have to fight back every urge to give up and keep being a dad, because as soon as you give up, they give up. And then there's the moment when you let go of the bike seat for the 100th time, and your kid doesn't fall, and they keep pedaling, and they keep going, and they're balanced, and just like that, they have it.
Did you go to the high school parking lot or somewhere? Couldn't have done it out in front of the house. Too many potholes.
They're riding a bike away from you, and you are just watching. and your heart is as full as the tires you pumped up a couple hours ago. And you see the fear in their face give way to unbridled joy, and you see a smile that could stop every war around the world, and you are somehow happier than they are, and they're the happiest they've ever been. And it's sort of a preview for the rest of their lives. As a parent, you're holding on and guiding them and running alongside them, and you're guarding their falls and picking them up, and you're teaching and coaching and encouraging, and then you're letting them figure something out. And you let go, and they ride away. And that's exactly how it's supposed to happen. They're supposed to leave you, but they leave with everything you've taught them. I know this is soupy and corny, but I can't help it. And from that moment on Friday till the sun went down on Sunday, I was in an empty church parking lot, if that answers your question.
It did.
Watching my daughter ride a bike by herself. And I will never forget this weekend because, without hyperbole, that was the best weekend of my life.
You know why? You know what the key here is?
What's that?
You were there. It's amazing when you show up how many great memories you can have with your kids. Be a little engaged, do some activities instead of nodding off in the big dog chair, dude, and telling them to leave on Christmas Eve. Hey, but good for you. I'm glad you're slowly starting to figure out that the best moments of your life are when you're actually being a dad. So kudos, man. I'm glad you're stepping up to the plate. Love to see it. Love to hear it.
So this morning at 10:06 anti-meridian Pacific Standard Time, the moon will pass in front of the sun, creating a rare solar eclipse. And although California is not in the path of totality, we are still going to see a substantial blocking of the sun. If you happen to be in the path of totality, you'll experience total daytime darkness and a temperature drop for up to 2 hours. And that's pretty cool. As a professor from UC Irvine told the LA Times, quote, "It reminds us of our place in the universe," end quote. Well said, nerd. Now, because this is happening on a school day during school hours, last week, permission slips were sent home for parents to sign to allow their kids to go outside and watch the eclipse.
What?
The permission doesn't have to do with missing school, but it is legal protection for the school district in case your idiot kid takes off their sunglasses and goes blind.
What?
So, I have a 7-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy, both at the same school. We got 2 permission slips last week. Want to guess how those slips were returned to the school this morning?
No.
My daughter gets to watch it. My son does not.
Why?
Here's why. We had to make a business decision. My daughter is 7, going on 47. She's wise beyond her years. She's smart. She's careful. She's independent. She listens. Quite simply, folks, she's a girl. And if you're lucky enough to have one of each, both a boy and a girl, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Girls are the best. They're a dream. We don't deserve them. They are such easy kids to raise. They're nice, respectful, caring, and absurdly mature when compared to boys. I'd also argue I've got one of the best boys possible that a parent could hope for. He doesn't eat dirt. He doesn't throw poop. He doesn't scream his head off until he gets his way, but that's only because he has an older sister and he's learning from her. That said, he's still a boy. And we don't trust that the second those glasses start feeling the slightest bit uncomfortable, that he won't take them off, stare right into the sun, Donald Trump style, and permanently burn his eyes into blindness.
Isn't it a solar eclipse?
Yes.
Which means it goes dark?
Yeah.
How do you go blind looking at the dark?
Can I see your science degree, please? Where is it? Did you put it on one of these walls?
Well, you don't stare at it until it goes dark. So how are you going to... No one... What?
I didn't write the rules of solar eclipses.
This is another example
Here we go, folks. Buckle up.
of how public schools are failing our children.
Oh, my gosh. So my son will be one of probably 4 kids that has to sit inside with the unlucky teacher who drew the short straw and has to babysit the hooligans instead of witnessing history.
Great job, Dad.
Never wanted to be that guy, but we have a boy, and boys are ridiculous. They don't follow the rules. You have a girl. You understand that you would trust Palmer to keep her sunglasses on, but if you were to have a son, you would understand that that son would immediately throw the glasses off.
How do you trust anything with a ball sack? How can you?
Last night, you texted me some wonderful pictures from a steak and lobster dinner. Was there an occasion? Was there an occasion that called for surf, turf, lava cake, and a nightcap espresso. What were you celebrating?
We were celebrating my dad's birthday.
That's great.
Yeah. We couldn't get a reservation on his birthday, so we moved it out a little bit. His birthday was the 6th, so we just wanted to get the whole family together and just kind of splurge for Big Rich. Hopefully he's up above watching us just explode our big toes with gout. We had such a rad evening, and Palmer was such a good girl last night because you're at a pretty fancy restaurant, so you're always kind of like, okay, how are they going to behave, you know? And we got the kids' menu, and when we get that now, I always sit down and I was like, okay, Palmer, eyes on me. What do you want? You want the grilled cheese? You want this? You want that? Because it's all about giving them decisions to make. One of the items was coconut shrimp, and she just loved the way it sounded, you know? She's like, I want coconut shrimp, you know? And so we're like, all right. The coconut shrimp came out, and I cut it up for her, and she was amped on it, ripping coconut shrimp and fries last night, and we had the best time, and we went a little overboard, but that's what you do sometimes. Also, want to say this. I saw this thing on a podcast, and it was this scientist, nerd, nutritionist guy. He's talking about coffee, specifically caffeine. Through his research, his theory is that caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It just tells your mind that you're not tired. So, sounds like a mind over matter thing to me. Since I heard that, because I'm a big coffee guy, it's like when you're shopping with your wife and you're just like, God, this sucks. Going into stores, you're acting like you're excited about everything. You walk by that leather store and you go, oh my God, that smell. I get that same feeling when I go by any kind of coffee shop, anytime during the day. You smell the beans a roasting and you're just like, man, do I need a coffee right now? So once I heard this, I was like, well, I'm all in because I'm a big mind over matter guy. After dinner, family dinner, we go out to dinner, any which way. People go for ice cream, whatever it is. I'm getting a cup of Joe. So last night, we had the lava cake, the touchdown finish, and the lady comes back, can I get you anything else? And I know this from experience. When you order a espresso or a latte from a nice restaurant like that, the way they present it is just as good as the coffee itself. So I was like, I would love a latte. Brings it out. It's the cup on the plate with 2 sugar cubes, a lemon twist hanging off the edge of the thing. And I just sat there and the whole family looks at me like I'm crazy. Drank that latte, gave me a jolt of energy, fake energy, I might add. And got the family home, went to bed, slept like a baby. Mind over matter.
Boy, you are just breaking down scientific barriers today.
I'm telling you, Hawk, if you're going to have a huge steak and lobster dinner with lava cake, don't you want a coffee at the end of it all? Doesn't that just sound incredible?
Well, I'm like you. I do finish my gluttonous meals with a coffee. We were just at Indian Wells Country Club together, and you'll recall that I ordered a coffee.
That's because you were a sober guy.
That's not why. I like to finish meals with a coffee. And I also agree with you that I've got no issue conking out after a cup. It's something about just a hot, smoky, robust beverage, late afternoon, evening time. I've got no issue falling asleep after that.
Yeah.
It almost lulls you into it.
Yeah.
So I do agree that there's probably some mind over matter. And as a guy that frequently ingests caffeine every single day, yet relentlessly suffers from fatigue, I can attest.
Yeah.
Caffeine doesn't do anything.
It's mind over matter.
100%.
Yeah.
So we're back at work after a very, very standard 2-day weekend. The work week is a product of one Henry Ford, who invented it some time ago, Monday through Friday. Work.
What an asshole.
Saturday, Sunday, weekend.
2 days.
You texted me over the weekend, quote, the work week is broken, end quote. The floor is yours.
Monday, you're sitting by the water cooler. You're dragging ass. You're acting like you're playing catch up. You're taking coffee breaks. You're basically setting up for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday showdown. And then Friday, you fake it again. Let's just trim the fat.
You want a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday work week? And
Yeah.
then Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
4 days.
Monday
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
This coming from a guy who hasn't had a boss in 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lives 5 minutes
Yeah.
from his own
Let's
warehouse.
cram it in. Let's do 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's get after it. And then let's live our lives, man. It just so happens.
Yeah.
It just so happens that we're living amongst this miracle. we're on this rock, spinning around in space. Just the perfect distance from the sun. Blue water, green trees, blue skies, white clouds. This is heaven, baby. Don't you want to enjoy it?
You make a good point, and you're not going to get any argument from me. However, let's play this hypothetical out. Who do you need to talk to make this happen? The mirror? You're your own boss.
I'm trying to help out the common man.
Well, if the work week is so broken for you, Mr. Self-Employed, can't you just doctor the work week however you want?
Yes, I can.
Okay, problem solved. Now, I, on the other hand, and everyone else listening, would have to go and shop this idea by a shot caller. Hey, boss, I'd like to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and just like my good friend, Self-Employed Ryan Engle, I'd like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. How's that sound?
No, this is how you do it. You go, hey, I've got a situation at home in my private life that I'm going to require some privacy for. So what I would really like from you, if you want me to continue working here, is can you give me my work for the week ahead of time? And I will get it all done tenfold every week. But I'm going to be hard to reach on Monday and Friday. And then the proof is in the pudding every week. Wow, great job, Adam. You got it all done. And you're like, yeah, you goddamn right I got it all done. Worked 12 hours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I got to push my kid on her bike on Friday in an empty parking lot. Had the best day of my life.
To all the working folks out there, just go up to your boss and try that.
Yeah.
Let us know how it goes.
Yeah. You know it's true. You're getting, at best, half the shit done you should on Monday, and definitely less than half on Friday. You ain't working that hard. You're watching that clock like a kid in class waiting for that 3 o'clock bell, dude.
A couple of things. I remember watching The Simpsons back in the 90s, and Mrs. Krabappel, Bart's teacher, told the class that they would be staying an extra 8 hours to make up for the time lost because apparently the clock had been tampered with. And Bart opens up his desk with a sad face, and you just see inside his desk there's a little briefcase that says, "Little Bastard's Clock Tampering Kit." And then the other thing, you mentioned dragging around on Mondays. My old roommate, Patrick Raymond, who will be playing in his second Nation Desert Classic this year.
To hear it.
He used to text me emojis on Monday when I'd say, "How you doing?" And it would be an emoji of a dragon and an emoji of an eggplant. And I never got it, but what he meant was, "I'm dragon dick." Speaking of the work week, I can safely say you and I will be fairly unreachable Thursday and Friday because this work week is the Masters. We will be back on Monday to recap it and do a little preview of the Indian Wells powwow.
Oh, man. It's coming, and it's a-coming quick.
Cannot wait. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Fellowship. We will catch you next week.
Saddle up, partner.